Good morning, good afternoon. Thank you. My name is Cedric Harding, and today I will be talking to you about Assure for Life. I am Cedric Harding. As I said before, I founded Legacy Smart Group. I'm also a consultant for Assure for Life. 23 years in the United States Army as a veteran. And just a little bit, I'll tell you a little bit of why I joined Assure for Life. So in the industry, I am also an insurance broker. I work for 30 plus companies nationwide. And looking at a couple things across the board, I actually sat with a client that actually spoke to me about getting coverage. And I realized that this person was not in a good situation where they were insurable. Now, everyone is insurable, but there's something called guaranteed issue. And with that, I realized that that client could not afford to get the traditional life insurance policy. And what made me search and look for something that would be a good fit because they had goals of taking care of their family, not just them, but their family members. And in the past, they just lost three family members back to back to back. So with that, I did a little bit of homework and I found Assure for Life, and I'll tell you about that. And I'm so happy to have the opportunity to talk to you about this. And we're just going to discuss a couple things. Who is Assure for Life? I'll give you the five W's about Assure for Life. Who, what, when, where do they cover? And what this funeral plan offers that the traditional insurance policy does not. And I'll also talk about what you want to know most. What's the cost? All right, so let's get started. So, why Assure for Life? So, the longevity of when it comes to Assure for Life actually started in Colombia in the 1950s, which is known as protection plenitude. So, when heard about this, it was actually mentioned to me by another agent that I worked with in the insurance industry. And I said, I couldn't find anything. How long this company been around? And when I did my research, I was like, oh, I've never heard of this company. They've been around for decades. So since 1950, it started out, and then it came to the United States in 2007, where it began. So Protection Plenitude, a short flight, covers clients and consultants across the United States, Latin America, and the Caribbean, which is outstanding because that's something that I truly in my military service, I traveled the world and seen all different walks of life, and no one comes to the rescue like this company right here. Now, how does the Short for Life work? A Short for Life works with the NFDA, the National Funeral Directors Association. So you're going to have some of the top funeral homes, funeral directors that's going to be supporting your needs as a family member, which are highly qualified funeral homes in your area. So NFDA, what is that again, Cedric? The National Funeral Directors Association. So this is not just about just the becoming a member. This is also for funeral homes to jump on board and take advantage of this, in which you can offer this to um, family members and many that may come through looking for options when maybe a life insurance plan is not an option. This is not life insurance, this is a funeral plan. And the best thing is to always keep life insurance as a priority, but this is an additional option. And I'll talk about that too as well. Now, just remember, as you go through this, I'm going to give you a nugget, and I hope that you're taking notes throughout this presentation. There's a site called funeralocity.com. Funeralocity.com. And then with that, you can start looking up all of the requirements and costs, natural cost of a funeral. And with that, it'll help you realize why Assure for Life stands above the rest. So, who partners with Assure for Life? Clients, funeral directors, and future consultants. And we'll talk about that. So, what is Assure for Life? Assure for Life is an organization that offers one of the top funeral plans in the United States, which is what I want to focus on here because I'm currently located in Illinois, one of the coldest places, in the Midwest. So, Assure for Life offers funeral assistance. And what I thought about is this reminds me of during my 23 years of military service, like when you watch the movies and such, they have something called a Casualty Assistance Office, right? They call it the CAC, or CAO. So with this, I love how, and even when you watch the movies, there's someone that's knocking on the door, that's giving assistance to that family member in a time that they need peace, helping them grieve and do several other things to coordinate the homegoing for their loved one. What I also do love is they have a 24/7 emergency hotline, just so when there's an emergency, you have a question and you need to do a notification, always here to pick up the phone. And that's one thing, as I'm no longer serving in the military and I retired after 23 years, that something like this is present for families in the community. I love it. So most families don't have time to grieve, and Assure for Life wants to support a family at a time of need, assisting with coordination. That includes transportation of our loved ones from the country of origin, flight arrangements for the policy owner, and more, which we'll discuss throughout this presentation. So let's talk about coverage and options. Now, Plenitude, which is the actual name of the company, but it's known as Assure for Life. It's easier to pronounce, would you say? So as a broker, a business owner, and a pre-need agent before I became a consultant, I had some homework to do as I was unaware of Plenitude, which is Assure for Life. So what I found was, and what you see here on the presentation, the company is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. The company Assure for Life also covers the U.S., all 50 states and U.S. territories, Latin America, and the Caribbean. Oh my goodness. I don't know who else does that, as I'm working in the insurance industry, and those companies, those 30+ companies that I support, that I'm appointed to, they do not cover those locations, only the United States, in which you have the opportunity where your family members can be covered in those locations. So looking at that, I lived in Europe for a great period of time. I've traveled the world. I've seen a lot of things, and nobody has what Assure for Life is bringing to the table today. So I will tell you shortly about the requirements to be an applicant, compared, for a life insurance policy compared to a funeral plan, given all the requirements and locations and things like that. So let's talk about the coverage option as we're getting to the meat and potatoes of this presentation. So how cool is this? You have the traditional funeral cost covered, that covers the cost of the service and preparation, covers cremation and the urn, right? Covers the casket and the hearse. This is like music to your ears for funeral homes as they're watching this presentation, but also to give you that peace of mind too, that these things are covered, because over a period of time, if you have a traditional life insurance policy, let's say you went in and you got a policy maybe 4 or 5 years ago and it was just $10,000, the cost of a funeral is rising. Just understand that with Assure for Life, the funeral plan will cover these things. No matter as the cost of funerals rise, Assure for Life is here for you too as well. So the only thing not covered in the United States is the cemetery. I got to tell you that. Even with life insurance, you have to account for the cost of the cemetery, which some of the times in the past I haven't. But now that I know, especially being a consultant for Assure for Life, the cemetery is real estate property in the United States. Now, in the Caribbean and Latin America, the cemetery is covered, and we'll talk about that as you know. If there's something that you want to discuss in a one-on-one, we'll talk about those things too as well. But remember that the priority is all of the above with laying your loved one to rest at their place of origin. So, well, like myself, I travel all over the world, right? Uh, I've lived in Wisconsin. I lived in here in Illinois, Kentucky, California, all over the place. And just knowing that in the future, as I move around, continue to travel because that's what I love, knowing that my loved ones can ensure that I move back to my place of origin, which is here in Illinois, which is where I would like to be buried. But it's that I will be transitioned and moved back to this location, and that's additional cost that you have to include when in that insurance plan. Something that I didn't even think about when I got my insurance plan that my life insurance agent didn't tell me at that time because it wasn't something that you traditional to that you always think about. Now, how many family members do you have that may live out of state? Just think about that. Maybe this doesn't apply to you, maybe it does. Understand that the payments from the insurance companies may take up to 30 to 90 days unless you have a pre-need insurance plan. But Assurance for Life will immediately, after providing all the details upon contacting the assistance line that is 24/7, will ensure that you're taken care of. So think about that. Do you have family members that you're going to add to your plan that live out of state? And then they're going to pay. I'm going to jump ahead, so I'm going to slow it down. So I'll discuss um, who can be added to this plan here shortly. Now, so as one of your insurance brokers, I will also tell you to ensure that you have life insurance. This is not to replace life insurance. Okay, you can have life insurance, but there's certain situations where, unfortunately, loved ones who are not willing to get life insurance for personal reasons, religious, financial, or other reasons, they just don't have it. And then we have things like GoFundMe, which you maybe you've heard of. So across the United States, I can tell you as an insurance agent, and just as a veteran in the community, we do have families that are disabled, family family members or family we're taking care of with special needs and more while trying to take care of ourselves first. But they become the priority, and sometimes they can put you in a hardship trying to obtain traditional life insurance, which sometimes you may have to wait 2 years too as well. So not with Assure for Life. Let me be upfront with you. Those that can't be added to the plan are currently, I say currently, that is those with terminal illness, cancer, brain tumor, and dialysis. So for cancer, if they are in remission and you have, how can I say this? For those that's in remission, at least you have in writing that you're in remission, they can be added. Okay. So a traditional insurance policy that you may have obtained or working to obtain may require 2 to 5 years for some medical conditions. So when you get going for a traditional insurance policy, and I say traditional, right? There are some knockout questions that they have where they may say, you know what, we're not going to cover you at this time, Mr. or Mrs. Client. So think about this: congestive heart failure, strokes, and more things in your medical history or that person's medical history. They may not be covered, or maybe they may be covered and they have to wait for a period of time. Yes, you can add that loved one to the funeral plan, okay, with Assure for Life. My funeral directors will love this, and you will too. Like I mentioned, I work with one of the top funeral homes in Chicago, I.J. Cannon Funeral Home. Seeing the working with I.J. Cannon Funeral Home, I saw the inner workings of what goes on behind the scenes. I have a high level of respect for for funeral directors providing services and the work that they do. All right. So cost to transfer the remains from hospice or removal, preparation for the funeral, the viewing, the death certificate as well has a fee. And the biggest thing that you'll be paying for when it comes to funeral services is the service and the coordination that everything has to be put together by that funeral director that's leading that service. That's added into that. That's part of the cost when you sit down with your local funeral home. Okay. So I love this. I really love this. Short for Life beats the rest. I've looked all over, and that's what drew me to this to say I want to be a consultant and actually present this to you. So let me ask you. I know that we're doing this on video, but you can nod your head and write it down. Tell me who pays for a round trip ticket. Does your insurance company pay for a round trip ticket? Did your loved one, when they set up their insurance policy, that it include a round trip ticket, right? If that applies, where else can you cover up to 7 members under the age of 65, right? And we can also talk about family members between 66 to 82. So, just think about that. Isn't it great to know that the members on your plan can be covered after the third day of accidents, violent crimes, even suicide, in which in a traditional insurance policy, if someone commits suicide, unfortunately that does happen, right? They commit suicide within less than 2 years. The company, 99% of the time, they don't have to pay. They will not pay. And that's in your insurance policy in writing. And you can look that up. Right. So with Assure for Life, they are covered. Okay. So there's the time frames, and we'll talk about that. Please keep in mind as this plan covers all that. Know that this is a plan that will be paid directly to the funeral home. So this is not an insurance policy that's going to be paid to the beneficiary. This is going to be to cover the cost of the funeral. Like I mentioned in the military, this is how families are supported, and I'm so happy to know that this exists for people like me and you. So let's talk about the cost next. All right. Now, Assure for Life offers 2 family plans at the standard and special rates. You can cover the family for $85 a month for 7 people in the standard states, and then $75 in special locations with a one-time fee of $30. I'm currently in Illinois, and majority of my family lives in the Midwest, and Mississippi and things like that. So I will fall within the standard rate, right? So, and I do have family members that live in Puerto Rico and the Caribbean. So you got to look at, hey, you can add these individuals to your plan, but you know what's not mentioned here. I'm gonna say that. You say, Cedric, what's not mentioned? I don't think I have everyone's information. If you're talking, I don't think I got everybody's information, Cedric. To be placed on this plan, we just need the date of birth, the legal name, place where the member resides, and that's it. That's it. Don't add anything else to it. And then also, your relationship. So even if the family member is from Mexico and still working to obtain citizenship or not, they can be added as well in the conversation that we'll talk about if when we sit down for a consultation. I love that because where I reside, there are a lot of individuals who are working to get their they don't have a social security number, right? So this is not asking for that, right? This is asking for that key information, and those individuals can be added. So this is great to take care of everyone. All right. I do want to mention, if you're excited about this, like I was, you can also be a consultant. So reach out to me, and I'll give you my information at the end of this presentation. So don't hesitate to reach out for more information at the end of this video. So what if is just for you or a loved one or just members between the ages 66 to 75, right? You just want to add that. There's other plans that Assure for Life has, right? So as you have this video, you can go back and you can go back a slide or two and look at the costs. It's best to just go for go big. Go ahead and take a look and compare the family plan. The family plan. Right now, we say family, but that can be, it doesn't have to be uncle, aunt, sister, brother. They could someone that you can add to the plan, and you have a, and they're considered part of your family. This is a family here, so we can talk about that during our consultation. Assure for Life has you covered, and I just want you to know that. So that was just about it. All right. So you can use, if you want to know more about Assure for Life, the funeral plan, all of the things that I talked about. Hey Cedric, you didn't say this or that. I want to be a consultant. How does that work? I'm an insurance agent. Can I use this? Yes, let's talk about it. You can use our text feature. You can text us at 224-407-4888. Take a picture of this screen. You can reach out to, here's the link to to reach out to us so we can contact you and provide more information on not just Assure for Life. We can do life insurance policies too, and actually just sit down and have a real conversation about securing a legacy for your loved ones too as well. My name is Cedric Harding. Thanks for taking this time to sit with me and watch this video. I hope to speak to you soon. Please subscribe to our channel, Legacy Smart Group. Please like this video. Thank you so much. And don't forget to share because there's more people that need this information. Thank you.